What's going on, guys? This is Griever here, bringing you guys the latest behind the bar reviews for 7 Deadly Sins, chapter 313. So, this chapter, guys, while a solid chapter, this is solid. It's just a setup chapter. It's a hype building chapter for me. I believe that this is saying, hey, we haven't forgotten about this, we haven't forgotten about that. And if you did, we're here to just tweak it, just remind you a little bit that these things are still ongoing plot threads. You thought the series was over, and no, I'm not going to take a word of that. The climax is here bullshit on the cover page with Escanor and Hawk running and stuff, and their little gag with the, 1, 2, 3 pork or whatever it was, like go sort of idea. Hawk's version of that with tender eyes or whatever it was first, which was a funny little gag. But I'm not taking your word, Nakaba. I'm not believing a single thing. I swear to you guys right now, when it's official, the magazine says it, Nakaba says it, final chapter inbound, let's say it's 344. That's the final chapter of Taizai. I will wait a month before I will completely, concretely believe that that is the final chapter, because Nakaba, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. He used the word climax, ending, last, over, every other synonym you could possibly use in the build-up to the 3 epilogue chapters, and then trolled us all. So I don't believe in that. I'm not reading too much into any of those words anymore. Now, that being out of the way, this chapter starts us off right away with the reaction shots that we saw. We know that Hawk and Escanor from the last chapter, they're basically going, all over Hell's Half Creation, trying to make sure that everyone is informed. And okay, so we get Bartra, we get Giltan, we get Hauser, whatever. Alright, so everyone's informed. Hawk realizes there's somebody else, and he runs off to go deal with that they haven't informed. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking it's Mael or Mail or whatever. But then I don't believe that. Once again, we find out later. But when my first reaction was that, but then it was debunked right away. When Escanor starts talking to the sky almost like in a prayer form and talks about Mel, can you please lend me your strength, and starts hacking and wheezing, and we see the blood. He's coughing up blood once again without sunshine no longer in his body. Now, let's just talk about this for a brief moment, because unfortunately I'm going to go see the Godzilla movie today, so that's going to be fun, and the movie's starting in the next couple hours, so I don't have a whole lot of time to be editing and doing this stuff, but I'm going to try to keep this brief. If you want more detail, go check out my theory videos. I have 2 or 3 of them about Escanor and Sunshine. That being said, really briefly here. So he's coughing up blood, right? And the easy answer when he first did this was Sunshine's killing him, right? That was the easy answer. And it'd be an easy answer to give, right? Okay, even if we are to accept that Sunshine was the thing killing him, and once again, I don't want to take Ludeshiel, however you want to say his name, the Archangels, when we first found out that Sunshine was a grace, used to be the strongest of all the Archangels male, blah, 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 and we found all about that, and he confronts Escanor about stealing it and stuff, and he basically informs him about what it's like. He's basically saying the same thing as Gother and Merlin discussed a couple chapters ago about the vessel for the Demon King. It's not possible for regular mortals, giant fairy nothing, to take in that many commandments. Taking in 1 is a challenge in amongst itself. Taking in 10 is just nigh impossible for anything not suited to be a host. In the same way, we all can agree that it's quality over quantity with the graces. The usual math that a lot of people always use is 2 commandments to 1 grace. And you expecting to believe that a sickly child that is Escanor survived this grace and stuff. Once again, go check out the theory video about the possibilities I believe. Some of them now a little debunked, some with some more merit. Either way, suffice it to say that all he said was basically, I don't believe that you have Sunshine. You must have basically saying, your story, you're lying to me about how you received it, that you were born with this power. That's not possible. You can't be mortal. Why? Because his reasoning was the grace, not using the power, not going the 1, not any of that, would break the human vessel apart. And Merlin and Gotha confirmed this about a vessel for the Demon King. Same idea. It would break apart your body. Similar words, similar situation. I might be stretching the power gap a little bit, but I believe the method remains true, is that would have happened. So why is he coughing up blood all of a sudden? Well, someone on Grimm's Discord mentioned to me that, well, yeah, it's because he used the one against Meliodas, and it's his first time actually utilizing all the power of the one to that extent. That's why now it's finally harming him. Fine, but he's recovered since then. And he's also, if Sunshine was the thing killing him, he has now given it up. Any sacrifice to his life force, any other detrimental things should have gone away. But they didn't. And why didn't it kill him all of a sudden? The question I still have here, and I believe this is why Nakaba brought this up, we see him praying to the heavens. Mael, come back, lend me your power. There are different translations, and I'm sitting there like, is he asking for his grace back? Or is he asking Mael to just come and help them out like he did before? You could take it either way. I'm hoping, because remember, Sunshine is borrowed. Escanor still holds claim over it as far as everyone's concerned. Once again, Escanor's Chivalrous Knight, very classic, poem, poetry, folk-telling type of knight. Honest, truth, that kind of stuff, following the Knight's Code more than any of the other characters in the series as far as I'm aware. And the fact of the matter is that he would not have lied to trick Mael into taking Sunshine back just because things were dire. It's not within his character. It wouldn't make sense. And I believe he stuck true to the character with that, saying, I'll lend you my power, showing that little bit of pride. That he's like, I understand. You gave it up once. It rejected you. Right now, I need you to take it, but it's still mine. Remember that. So I would like to see him get his power back. I don't care about power scaling. Escanor is cooler than Mael, my opinion. Now, as I said, trying to just keep brief here. Now, saying all this, could it be something like a Venom Eddie Brock thing? Could it be something like the Deadpool thing? That basically Sunshine might have been the thing to poison him, but it was also the thing sustaining his life, keeping him alive. And now actually, Escanor, they may have thought, okay, once he gives up the grace, his body will start to recover. He won't have any power left, but he won't be able to recover anymore. He'll be able to recover. Clearly not. He's coughing up blood again. So whatever Sunshine, whether that was caused, whether it was a disease he had prior to Sunshine, and maybe that's why, once again, how did Sunshine survive in Escanor for decades? What Rodesiel stated was that shouldn't have been possible on its own, not even using Sunshine. Forget using any abilities. Forget being a powerhouse. Forget the one all entirely. Escanor's body should have broken apart by possessing it. Simply possessing it. Not using it. Possessing it. And certainly not for decades that he has. So my initial question is, that has to tie into all this coughing up blood thing. I don't want to believe it's just so black and white as, oh, well, Sunshine is killing him. We're never going to explain why Escanor was able to hold it when everyone believes that's not a possible thing. It was a 1 in a million shot and Escanor just happened to do it. Lucky day. That's bad writing. I don't want to believe it. So I'm here just stating a few things that could be possible. I believe Nakaba brought this back up and showed us him coughing up blood once again because this is going to become relevant here at the end. We might finally get that thing that led some people like me, for example, before we got Gother's big 45-page story and all of his information, he was right down there with Deanne as one of my least favorite of the sins, my 2 least favorite sins in the whole group, and now Gother is one of my favorite sins in the whole group. I think he's great. I think he's a great character, well developed and all that stuff. Escanor I've always loved from the get-go, like a lot of people, but that doesn't mean he doesn't deserve the same treatment as Gother. We need these answers, Nakaba, and bringing this up to tease us and not giving us the answers soon would just be a bit of a, you're holding on to my balls here. Stop blue balling me, Nakaba. I need this information. So, anyways, once again, I've made theories about this before. I'll probably make another one soon. Go check those out and stuff. But Escanor, Sunshine, coughing up blood, I think there's a little more to it. Or at the very least, there's more information that we still can only guess about. Now, the rest of the chapter goes on and we see, Zarsel. Zarsel's going to be happy from the Discord, from the Grimm's Boar's Hat podcast, which of course go check it out, link in the description down below as always. His best boy, Arthur Pendragon, is seen. Not talking, not back to life, but seen. The person that Hawk was talking about was Mama Hawk. Hawk goes to her and basically is talking to her, and we get basically verbatim sort of idea from Hawk. Saying, what do you mean you're sleepy? What do you mean this? The Demon King's up. Like, Mama, you're powerful. Let's do this. You got to get involved sort of idea. And I'm like, yeah. Hawk, thinking. Good. Kidneys up here, boy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And she basically brings up, it's a little prophecy sort of idea. And once again, always hate the prophecy stuff. I feel it's a little lazy. It can be done right when done subtly. This being a little lazy for it being so late game, but apparently the balance is disturbed. Well, the balance has been disturbed for a while. Who are you kidding? The balance is all completely broken and disturbed, and the new king and the king shall be born. Now we see in Mama Hawk's eye, we see Arthur still laying there with Excalibur, pinned into him. So what's going to come of that? I mean, clearly Nakaba has not forgotten about these characters. He has not forgotten about Escanor and the coughing of the blood. He has not forgotten about Arthur Pendragon, though he seems to have forgotten about Nanashi, the great samurai from Wano, from Japan. And all this stuff. So I know Zarso's going to be creaming his panties over this stuff. It's all really, really exciting. I'm looking forward to the Boar's Head podcast to talk about more with him and the possibilities of what this means. And hopefully it's not done lazily. I don't want him to come back and be OP on the level of, or hacks like Merlin, or OP on the level of Meliodas. I need some better explanation for it. So either way, that's really interesting. We're going to find out what this is. Once again, this is what I'm talking about. We're hyping things up. Not just bringing old stuff back. Like, didn't forget Escanor. Did not forget Arthur. They are going to be relevant. Let's go. And, okay, I'm fine with that. The rest of the chapter after this, we see them going off. Now, they're going to a place called, I believe it's called the Lake of Salisbury. Not Salisbury Steak or Salisbury Hill, but sounds delicious. I might be mispronouncing it. It might be mistranslated. But either way, apparently it's the highest concentration point of magical power in all of Britannia, and the reason they never went there before and utilized this power in any way is... Yeah, I got nothing. Okay, so suffice to say, that's just a nitpick. They're heading, of course, towards the Demon King. Meliodas and Elizabeth, they're heading towards, they realize where the Demon King is, they can sense his presence. Great on you now, guys. I'm so glad you can sense where he's at right now. You couldn't sense 10 Commandments forming in because they're so subtle. You couldn't sense Cusack, Chandler murdering each other. You couldn't sense a god being born into the mortal plane miles away. But you can sense, storms and hail and tornadoes happening countries away. Okay. Natural disasters, a god on earth. Yeah, natural disaster sensing, you're top tier, but god sensing, you guys are lacking. You gotta increase your god sensing skill tree or something, because still not over that. That being said, they're rushing there, and here's where we get one of my favorite parts of the chapter. It's probably my favorite part, is the fact that we finally see Meliodas as the leader of the Ten Commandments, with Zeldris still respecting him, and they have their conversation. And we see, I believe these are supposed to be the 2 commandments that Meliodas killed on his way out. They are spying on this conversation, checking the loyalty, of course, of Meliodas and Zeldris. And right here, we get to see this, and it's a bit of a heartbreaking scene. It really is, because this is where Meliodas explains his intention, says, I'm leaving, the Holy War's stupid, I don't really even know why we're fighting it. I like you, because remember, Gelda and Zeldris were a thing long before Elizabeth Meliodas. Zeldris is the original boy, if you want to look at it that way. He's the original love story, the original tragedy of the Demon Clan, as far as that goes. And he basically says, I too have found what you once had. I found someone worth protecting, to the point that, and he basically chose different. He goes, as leader of the Ten Commandments, it's inevitably going to come that one day, maybe not today, tomorrow, or even years from now, but one day it's going to come to the point where I'm going to have to kill Elizabeth with my own hands. And I can't do that. I won't accept that. And he goes, Father won't allow it. He goes, I'm not asking anyone's permission. I'm just going to go do it. Whether you guys like it or not, I'm going to do this. And I was like, that is a powerful stance. And I was like, okay, this is a demon. This is as far demon as we will probably see Meliodas again. And it's a great flashback to get. And then Zeldris is conflicted. He can't understand. He's like, what about me? What about the Demon Clan? What about us? And then he basically says, Meliodas holds out his hand. Says, come with me. Bring Gelda and come with me. Let's go together. I'm not leaving you behind. You're my brother. I'm like, aw, we never had that information before. And I'm like, that's in the fields. I got a younger brother. I get where Meliodas come from. I'm not leaving him and his woman behind. Let's do this. Screw the clan. Screw this. Screw the war. Screw all that. Now, Zeldris rejects him after a moment of clarity almost and goes 180 on his ass, right? Now, at first I was like, oh, you ungrateful little brother. The golden boy shit, you know? Now, in this case, Meliodas is kind of that way, but as the eldest, I am unfortunately a victim of the golden boy treatment on the younger brother. You know, I am not the golden child between the two of us. And as the saying goes, you know, the first one's a test child, and we do any mistakes we make there, we correct with the second one sort of idea. That's basically me and my brother. So here I was like, ah, you ungrateful little shit, even though Zeldris is still awesome. But then Meliodas puts it in perspective. It's like, now this does beg the question, how exactly did they get to the mortal plane, the vampires? And how did they survive exactly? Was Gelda intending to survive very long? We know that she basically asked Meliodas, like, end me. But yeah, there's so much here. There's so much to unpack here because he basically says, didn't think things through. I was foolish. I was selfish to ask this of him because that probably tortured him even more. He might have even thought, if you look at it one way, he might have even thought he was making fun of him because it was like, Gelda was a vampire. She needed to stay in the underworld. She had to stay there, a place of darkness. Like, there's no daylight rings from Vampire Diaries as far as I'm aware. There's no super protection that they could constantly do without under constant threat of attack and always fighting and stuff. There's nothing they could do that wouldn't draw enemies towards them. And the other factor is that if she is a vampire, and I'm assuming, we haven't really seen this, but I'm assuming that she needs to eat and kill. You know, she needs to drink human blood to survive. Or some manner of blood, and, you know, maybe she'll end up attacking innocent people and stuff, and maybe Zeldris doesn't want that, or Gelda doesn't want that. So it really was the most selfish request, and Meliodas recognizes this, that at the time he goes, I thought it was so simple, but I was wrong. I was so wrong in asking him that, not even thinking things through, what it must be like for him. And he's just like, I would just want to make up with my brother, I want to apologize for that, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's a really powerful scene. I really enjoyed that. And then the rest of the scene goes on. We see, we jump over to actually the other side of the coin. We jump over to the Demon King, and more specifically, we jump into his host, inside of his mind. Now, here in the mind of the Demon King, we see that Zeldris has actually woken up. Now, this is something that I said I did not want to have happen a certain way. I didn't want the real Gelda to appear, and all of a sudden that's what wakes him up in subconsciously sort of idea. I thought that'd be kind of lame. But we're jumping right ahead. Zeldris already woke up. He must have recovered somewhat. Remember, he was weakened, and that's what made possession easy and stuff. And now he's wandering around this white space, you know, this void. Basically, Davy Jones' locker, Pirates of the Caribbean, World's End sort of idea. Wandering around this empty place, just like, yo, Dad, let me out. Give me my body back. This is stupid. And he's not even responding. He's like, you're not even going to talk to me then? Not even going to torture me? Like, what's going on? And then we see Gelda, or fake Gelda up here. Come on. And, you know, some people have brought up that this is probably because the Demon King clearly knows what's going on inside his mind. He's creating this vision. So is it the Demon King? We've already seen this. The Demon King, you know, being able to talk and present himself in one way physically and also mentally at the same time. So, did he take the form of Gelda? Is this, because otherwise this is creepy. He's fake Gelda, sure, but those are fake Gelda Demon King daddy boobs that he's crying and squeezed into. And yeah, Nakaba, I don't think this was a good idea. This is getting into that, you know, that I word territory, and I'm just maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it. More than me have pointed this out. So anyway, fake Gelda appears. We all know it's fake. She lies through her teeth. Tells Zeldris, yeah, no, Meliodas didn't seal me. He killed me along with the sins. He gets mad. Zeldris is realizing. He's like, no, my father wouldn't allow this. You're a trick. This ain't real. All that stuff. But because he hasn't seen Gelda in so long, he's kind of taking that moment. It's the same with the Nadja Gother thing. I believe that Zeldris is just taking that moment. Like, he knows it's not real. It's, once again, Gother Nadja. He knows it's not real. But he's taking the moment to pretend it is, just to have that one moment of clarity, just that moment of peace, and then we'll see him resist. We know next chapter, if we see any in the mental world, we know he'll still be questioning this Gelda. He won't fall into this. It says for all eternity and stuff. It's the Demon King posing as Gelda in the mental world. It's creepy. Zeldris, please don't fall for it for any length of time. Next time I see him, I want him rejecting this. Out of like, just straight out, no bullshit, no crap, and then we finally see Demon King. Demon King Zeldris does look like a badass. He looks way better than Meliodas did and stuff. So if this was not his plan all along, I got to give you to it. You had the design down. You didn't give us the best form first, So there is that, but. Meliodas, Elizabeth showing up, great wide panel shot. We don't really get much in the way of a conversation or anything yet. They just showed up. It's now Demon King Zeldris versus Meliodas and Elizabeth, Goddess Elizabeth, staring each other down. Knowing Nakaba, we will not see any of this next chapter. No. We will probably see some bullshit with Gil Thunder or something running around trying to find somebody, and then we will jump over to the Endora battle. We might just jump right into the middle of the Endora battle, and we'll see the sins for a while, because I believe once again, this was a hype-building chapter, but I don't believe we're going to continue any of these story threads next chapter. We're not going to continue the Zeldris mental world. We're not going to continue Meliodas, maybe briefly at the beginning of the chapter, a few pages, Meliodas, Elizabeth, and the Demon King having some words, and then leaping in, and then that's it. The rest of the chapter dedicated to other characters. We won't follow Escanor. We won't follow Arthur or Mama Hawk or any of that. We'll probably jump over to the Endora thing next. That's what I believe we'll do, and I'm okay with that. This is just a hype-building chapter. That's all it is. It's set up, and it's done well, and I'm excited. 314 is around the corner, guys. Can't wait for it. Once again, I hope you read the chapter. I hope you enjoyed the chapter. Did you like the review? Did you hate the review? Please like, subscribe, comment. As always, it's always very much appreciated. This has been Griever with your Behind the Bar reviews for 7 Deadly Sins, chapter 313. Drink responsibly as always, guys, and we'll see you back here next time.